Hello, today we're talking to you about 6.4. There's going to be probably 3 parts to this section. It's a fairly simple idea, but it's really important for you to be able to do the word problems and the formulas that are later on in this chapter. First of all, we're going to introduce you to the idea of percent, okay? Percent, you've seen this little percent symbol, and what it basically means, if you're talking about words, it means out of 100. That's what the word percent means, out of 100. So if it's 1% that are going to get sick from this disease, then that means 1 out of 100 people that you see would get the disease. That's what percent means. If you're writing it in fraction form, which is the same as a ratio, and you know we just talked about solving proportions, and so you know we're going to turn these into ratios eventually, you would put whatever the percent is over 100, because that means out of 100. If you're talking about putting it in decimals, well, you want it to be in hundredths, which if you'll remember means 2 decimal places. And so you would put the percent into 2 decimal places, and that's how you would change it. So you cannot multiply or divide by the percent sign. So if I want to find 7% of or times 200, you can't do it unless you change the percent into some other form so that we can do math. And so the rest of this unit will be talking about changing percent into other forms or changing those forms back into percent. The first form we're going to talk about is changing the percent into a fraction. Or remember, a fraction is the same as a ratio. So if we're going to do proportions, we're going to need to know how to do it. It's fairly simple. You put whatever the percent is over 100. Remember, that's what we said to do. And then you have to remember how to reduce. For example, if I have 7%, I just put 7 over 100. That's all there is to it. If I had 12%, I would put 12 over 100, and then I would have to reduce it. I've prime factored. 12 is 2 times 2 times 3. 100 is 10, 2 times 5, times 10, 2 times 5. Cancel, and then I would reduce it to 3/25. So change it into it over 100, and then whatever way you want to reduce it. If it's a decimal percent, that's kind of a weirdo, okay? So if I had 7.2%, you would put 7.2 over 100, right? Well, how do you reduce something that's a decimal? You can't prime factor it. So what you have to do is get rid of the decimal. So to do that, you're going to take this, move it. And if I've got 7.2 and I don't want the decimal, I'm going to move it to the end, and that would make it just 72. But if you move it here, you must also move it in the bottom. So I take my 100 and move it over 1, and then now my bottom is 1,000. So your fraction is 72 over 1,000, and then you have to reduce it from there. I reduced by doing the down divide method. I said 2 went into both of them. That gave me 36 and 50. 2 went into both of them. That gave me 18 and 25. There's not anything that goes into 18 and 25. And so 18 over 25 is my reduced fraction.